A young man named Alex returns home to a startling discovery. His own lifeless body lies on the living room carpet, accompanied by an envelope bearing the words, "Look at me." Though initially shocked, Alex's curiosity overrides his astonishment. Inside the envelope, he finds a flash drive, which he promptly inserts into his computer. To his surprise, the screen displays an image of himself. Another version of Alex reassures him, urging careful attention. This unusual scenario commences with the arrival of men in black at Alex's home. Rebecca, an employee of an advanced scientific research institute collaborating with the National Security Agency, presents Alex with a compelling offer. However, before divulging details, she insists Alex signs a non-disclosure agreement, accompanied by a substantial check. Intrigued, Alex obliges, only to learn about an unregistered American satellite allegedly from the future, containing a coded message. Upon agreeing, Alex is put to sleep and transported to the laboratory. Given his dire financial situation and modest inherited home, Rebecca substantiates her seriousness by promptly transferring a considerable sum to Alex's account. The following day, he awakens in a secret facility. Rebecca introduces him to the laboratory where the mysterious satellite is housed, tasking Alex with decoding its enigmatic message. Despite 5 weeks of exhaustive efforts yielding no breakthrough, Rebecca suggests Alex take a day off, a suggestion he declines. Then, unexpectedly, Alex experiences a vision revealing a young woman decoding the same task. This vision causes him to bleed from his nose. Investigating further, Alex discovers the woman's name inscribed on the bed frame. Progress soon follows as Alex decrypts a portion of the code containing depictions of an unfamiliar device. Rebecca brings Alex's decoding work to an end, indicating it's time for him to return home. He regains consciousness late at night in his own house, feeling unwell, initially attributing it to fatigue and stress. However, as days pass, his condition worsens, plagued by persistent hallucinations. One day, 2 peculiar-looking individuals appear at his doorstep, questioning Alex's decision to decode the code. Puzzled, Alex defends his work as merely a job that pays well, unable to comprehend their line of inquiry. The enigmatic men persist, delving into moral considerations, highlighting the ethical implications of creating a device from the decoded drawings, a device destined to be the world's most powerful weapon. Alex's head begins to throb with pain, prompting him to ask the men to leave. As they depart, thanking him for the information, Alex experiences a sudden alleviation of his discomfort. He returns to his computer, but is interrupted by a call from Rebecca, reminding him of the signed non-disclosure agreements, unsettling Alex as he realizes the Institute is closely monitoring him. Attempting to resume his work, the lights in his house abruptly go out. Alex steps outside, only to spot one of the men across the street. However, to his horror, the man's body begins to grotesquely grow and transform before his eyes, instilling fear in Alex. Alex runs home and looks out the window to see the giant's hand reaching for his window, and he extends his hand to meet it. Then, the next morning arrives. Rebecca, who has arrived at Alex's place, finds him deeply engaged in work. Struggling to explain his recent encounter with the colossal beings, and their ability to exist not just in space but also across time, Alex attempts to convey their immense sophistication. He explains to Rebecca that humanity exists in 2-dimensional space, while these beings transcend dimensions, able to observe events through some kind of temporal window. Despite his efforts, Rebecca discloses knowledge about Alex's illness, a brain tumor. Blaming the Institute for his condition, he insists on halting the construction of the dangerous device. In a peculiar turn of events, Alex, in the present, retrieves his lifeless body from the house and lays it to rest in the forest. Returning to the computer, he continues to listen to the story relayed by his future self. In the future, Alex regrets the lack of heed paid to his warnings. He had sensed impending danger but was dismissed. Recollecting a woman, a cryptographer named Beth, he locates her address. Initially reluctant, Beth eventually opens up to Alex after he reveals his terminal diagnosis of 6 months. She discloses that she has 2 years left and realizes the weapon's devastating potential, recognizing the drawings as originating from the future. Beth mentions another person, Shearman, who communicates with her through the computer, assigning tasks that she solves when feeling well. As Beth begins feeling unwell, Shearman assists her to the bedroom while he himself descends downstairs, encountering what seems like glimpses into the girl's life through the mirrors. In a heart-wrenching scene, Beth bids farewell to her beloved, dressed in a military uniform, only to receive devastating news from his comrades. Overwhelmed, she clutches a handful of pills, contemplating ending her life. However, her attention shifts as a message from Shearman appears on the computer monitor. Responding swiftly, Alex's presence alarms Shearman, who quickly disconnects. Alex, in possession of a pack of printed papers containing tasks from Shearman, pieces them together to form a puzzling yet revealing pattern. Convinced that Shearman does not work at the Institute, Alex implores Beth to join forces in halting the creation of a potentially lethal device. Beth shares how her illness emerged after working with the satellite, causing hallucinations and sparking thoughts about a message from the future. Intriguingly, she wonders if it's possible to communicate with the sender, experiencing eerie encounters with voices of the deceased and even witnessing aliens, despite her disbelief in them. Returning home, Alex encounters men in black awaiting his arrival. Rebecca warns him against meeting Beth and urges him to use his remaining time judiciously. Frustrated, Alex dismisses the visitors, only to discover that all his papers containing crucial conclusions have vanished. Meanwhile, Beth is startled by a bright light at her house, which triggers sickness and fear. In a panicked state, she attempts to seek refuge. Back at Alex's place, he resorts to alcohol to drown his thoughts when a message from Shearman arrives on his computer. Convinced that Rebecca is behind the pseudonym, Alex confronts the interlocutor, who denies the accusation. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, revealing Beth at the threshold. It's revealed that Siobhan directed her to Alex and provided her with blueprints of a device capable of neutralizing future technology, adding a new layer to their mission. The couple, Alex and Beth, diligently work on crafting a virus intended to neutralize the destructive machine derived from the decrypted blueprints accessed through their computer. However, their plans are disrupted as Rebecca abruptly barges into Alex's house the next morning. She warns them that representatives from the Institute are already en route, knowing about their clandestine efforts. Revealing herself as Shefferman, Rebecca urges Alex and Beth to join her in thwarting the device's creation by contacting the Institute's founder immediately. With cars approaching the house, the couple swiftly escapes through the rear exit. However, Rebecca is apprehended, forcibly injected, and taken away in a car. Meanwhile, in a chilling turn of events, all the gas burners in Alex's kitchen are left open. That evening, Alex and Beth seek refuge with scientist Miles, who recognizes them both, having closely followed their work. He unveils a startling revelation. Besides the satellite they encountered, there was another satellite orbiting Earth for about 400 years. Evidently, unknown beings from the future awaited humanity's technological evolution to decrypt their message. The ancient satellite contained blueprints for a machine designed to hinder humanity's evolution within the third dimension. However, when Miles attempted to disclose his discovery, he was ridiculed. He too developed a non-fatal tumor, luckily escaping the worst. With growing conviction, Miles asserts that extraterrestrial beings can exist across multiple dimensions, perceiving time differently than humans. He explains that the second device being developed at the Institute could potentially grant these aliens access to the human dimension. Currently, these beings observe humanity akin to watching a movie. They can view events but cannot alter the course of reality, facilitated by the first device. However, the second device may enable them to manipulate and change the existing reality. Miles delves into the complexities of this process, acknowledging the challenge of explaining everything comprehensively. He shares an intriguing revelation: his prolonged interaction with a massive alien entity, visible only to him, residing in his garden for over 30 years. To Miles, this alien presence has facilitated his brain's adaptation, allowing him glimpses of the true appearance of humanoid aliens. Curiously, his guests remain oblivious to this otherworldly entity. Miles speculates that the tumors in their heads might be the aliens' way of assisting humans in perceiving their reality. When Alex suggests destroying the device, Miles highlights the risk of the Institute rebuilding it. He proposes erasing all data on the server, even though the Institute's exact location remains unknown. Surprisingly, Miles, as one of the Institute's founders, retrieves a detailed map, revealing its whereabouts. Amidst their discussions, a loud bang echoes at the door, prompting Alex and Beth to flee. While Miles attempts to pacify the alien in his garden, Alex and Beth embark on a journey to locate the Institute. Sneaking inside through a hatch, they separate to maximize their chances of finding the laboratory. Inside the Institute, Alex notices the peculiar behavior of a guard, repeatedly moving backward. It becomes evident that time within the Institute is caught in a loop. Similarly, Beth encounters the same temporal loop, realizing the futility of her attempts to progress further. Beth activates the bomb within the time loop, finding herself unable to escape the perilous situation due to the loop's confines. Meanwhile, Alex ventures into a dark room, endeavoring to move the bomb to a safer location. However, he encounters an alien entity that disintegrates him into minuscule particles. Moments later, Alex finds himself restrained on a table, face to face with a humanoid being. Initially believing he has perished, Alex discovers that the alien is simply curious about human appearance and their perception of time. The alien elucidates that linear time is incomprehensible and monotonous for them, contrasting the human experience of being ensnared in an incessant cycle. While humans perceive time as both a provider and a thief, the alien exists beyond time and space, in every moment, transcending the causal connections and sequences of actions. Contemplating the essence of existence and the transient nature of reality, Alex begins to feel unwell. The alien offers him a chance to return to a moment before his illness, armed with the knowledge he now possesses. Reflecting on the alien's insights, Alex considers altering his choices, opting to prevent his involvement with the Institute and cease the chain of events. The humanoid questions whether Alex's return to the past would truly change anything, challenging the notion of free will versus deterministic outcomes. Suddenly, Alex finds himself back in his home in front of the computer, realizing that altering events seems impossible. Despite the world's potential demise, he acknowledges the inevitability of events having already occurred. Compelled by a sense of responsibility, Alex records a flash drive with a warning message to Beth in the past, urging her to take heed. He heads to Beth's house while contemplating the futility of altering the timeline. In his final words on the flash drive, the future Alex advises to move on and live despite the complexity of temporal paradoxes and existential uncertainties.